Discovery Program Director here at Heartland Forest.
And I'm Kira Moratz, an outdoor and wildlife educator here at Heartland as well. Happy Earth Day and welcome to Heartland Forest. We are recording this video just a few days after the first day of spring. Join us today on a walk of our property to explore different seasonal changes throughout different habitats on our property. For 1 minute today, when you are outside, stand there in silence, look around you, look up at the sky, and think about how amazing our Earth is. Take the time to look around and notice what you see, what you hear, what you smell. How have things changed with the seasons changing from winter to spring? Come and join us.
Much of our forest is actually underwater this time of year, and there are many places along the trail to stop and enjoy the view. Our forest is a type of wetland called a slough forest because it's covered in shallow ponds like this one that fill up from snowmelt and rain in the winter and spring and then dry up in the late summer sun. Since the water dries up by the late summer, who can't live here? Fish and other animals that live in the water their whole lives can't survive here when all of this water dries up around August. But these ponds, called vernal pools, are home to many animals who can live in the water that dries up in late summer. I wonder what kind of animals only have to live and breathe underwater for part of their lives. This photo should give you a clue. Do you guys know what adult animal this grows up to be? Right now, there are a lot of frogs using our ponds and calling. It's pretty loud actually here in the forest. I can hear chorus frogs and wood frogs. Do you know what animal the one in this photo grows up to be? It's not another frog. Salamanders are amphibians too, and their larvae look a lot like tadpoles. Frogs and salamanders depend on these vernal pools as a safe place to grow up without the fish to eat them. Salamanders make their way to the pools in very early spring. All these mouths need feeding, and the vernal pools also support the larvae of many insects, including mosquitoes. Another cool insect is the caddisfly, who knows how to build their own little log cabin to keep their bodies protected long enough for them to grow up, go through metamorphosis, and fly away. Vernal pools are the coolest in the springtime.
This wetland behind me is different from the vernal pool we just visited. What do you think makes these two habitats different from each other? At Heartland, not all of our wetlands are temporary. This pond has water all year round and is deep enough that it never dries up. This allows different animals to live and use this pond than our vernal pools. Who do you think lives in this pond? Take a second to think about what animals you could find in a pond like this. We're going to give you clues to one of the main animals that resides in the pond behind me here. Now, our first clue for you is, what does this animal eat? Now, this is one of the animals you can find in a permanent pond like this, is fish. Fish do not live in our vernal pools like Lisa said, but fish can live in our permanent bodies of water. This animal likes to eat a variety of water plants and animals like minnows and algae on the bottom of the pond. It is an omnivore. It also likes to eat aquatic bugs that will spend the winter at the bottom of our pond. Our next clue is who eats this animal. Now, the animal we are talking about has special protection on the back of its body that allows it that not very many predators like to take the chances of eating it. But one of the animals I will is this egret that I have right here. Birds like herons and egrets will go in big bodies of water like this, looking for fish on the bottom of the pond, insects, as well as little babies of the animal we're talking about. Do you know what animal we're talking about from our two first clues? Well, I'm going to tell you. Did you guess turtle? Here at Heartland Forest, we are home to both painted turtles and snapping turtles. These turtles are very different in size. This pond is deep enough to allow the turtles to spend the winter hibernating underneath the ice. In the spring, once the ice has melted from the surface of the pond, our turtles can be spotted emerging from the bottom of the pond and seen sunning themselves and warming up on the many logs in the back of our pond. The turtle in my hand here is our painted turtle. It's got lots of bright colors. The other turtle that likes to inhabit our wetlands is this big fella right here. This is a common snapping turtle. Snapping turtles are Ontario's largest turtle. They are well known for their long tail with big spikes on it that make them resemble a dinosaur, and because of their name, snapping turtle, because of their very, very strong jaws. Can you see any turtles in the pond behind me here? How many turtles can you spot? Other animals like to use our ponds as well. In the spring, our wetlands can be used by ducks like mallard ducks and Canada geese for nesting. Our vernal pools will dry out by the middle of the summer, and adult frogs will make their way to these permanent bodies of water.
While we're in the forest, let's take a moment to appreciate the view. The forest here has many mature trees. Some of them can be a few hundred years old. The leaves make the forest a shady, cool place with the canopy in summer. And they provide shelter for our forest floor when they fall. When you think of spring and animals waking up from the long winter sleep, who do you think of? You may be thinking of bears waking up from hungry from hibernation, or groundhogs and chipmunks waking up from their underground burrows. We've set up a bit of an I Spy beside me. Can you see any animals hidden in the forest? Did you spot the photo of the morning cloak butterfly? You might think it's still too cold for butterflies in the spring, but morning cloak butterflies overwinter as adult butterflies under the bark of trees and under leaf litter. On warm, mild, sunny spring days, you can see them zooming around all around the forest in search of sap to drink while they wait for the flowers to bloom. You may also see a Compton's tortoiseshell. They're very beautiful as well. Though gray squirrels are famous for gathering nuts in the fall and eating them through the fall and winter, in early spring, they'll eat the buds of many forest trees. They love to eat maple tree buds. This time of year, the ends of many nipped twigs can be found on the forest floor that have been dropped by squirrels. I was able to find some of the flowers. Can you spot the I Spy squirrel model that we've placed out here? Can you spot any other I Spy specimens that we've placed out here for you to find? Raccoons are also having babies this time of year, from late March through June. The tree cavities are in big demand. A tree cavity is the science name for a hole in a dead tree. 2 to 5 kits might be born in a litter, and the kits will stay safe in the den until they're about 10 weeks old. It'll take a whole year for them to grow up and leave their mom. Raccoons are pretty famous for getting into people's garbage cans looking for food, but they actually have a really big wild menu. Nuts, plants, berries, insects, rodents, frogs, eggs, crayfish, you name it. By the way, like gray squirrels, raccoons don't truly hibernate. They may sleep through the worst of the winter though. We placed one more animal specimen out here for you to I Spy. Do you see him? The great horned owl stays here all winter and starts nesting and lay their eggs before the snow even melts. They usually use nests made of sticks and will use old nests from other birds like hawks and crows. They'll lay up to 4 eggs that'll hatch into helpless blind babies. They're born really early in the season, which gives them lots of time to grow and learn hunting skills before next winter is here. They hunt all kinds of different animals, from mice to rabbits to even geese and other raptors. Even skunks are on the menu.
Our meadow is a busy place in the spring. Take a moment to take in the sights and sounds. Spring brings with it the return of many birds migrating back from their warmer wintering grounds down south. Do you think of any specific kinds of birds when you think of springtime? One of the first signs of spring for many people in Canada is the return of the red-winged blackbird. You can see and definitely hear them throughout our meadow and wetlands. The red-winged blackbird is best known for the male's distinctive red shoulder patches called epaulets. Females are brownish with streaks on their chests. Their migration back to Ontario is from February through May, making them one of the first migratory birds to return. When looking for birds, it is always good to look up. What kind of birds can you picture soaring overhead? Another bird we can often see circling high above our meadow in early spring is the turkey vulture. Unlike most of our returning birds, which migrate at night, turkey vultures migrate like hawks in the daytime. They rise on warm spring airdrops of hot air rising generated by the heat of the day with a distinctive teeter from side to side, and then they glide northbound to Canada. When you think of spring, what represents spring in your mind? For many people, they think of flowers beginning to bloom. Our meadow may not be filled with flowers yet. It is still a little too early, but very soon it will be covered in bloom. Spring is a well-timed event, with one thing leading to another. For example, the temperatures get warmer, so the birds begin to fly back. Once the flowers are in bloom, who do you think will visit them? As the days continue to warm up and early spring flowers begin to bloom, you may see bumblebees on the move. One of the bumblebees you see in early spring are queens. In spring, the queen bee emerges from the hole in the ground in which she has been hibernating all winter. When she first emerges, she feeds on flowers, drinking nectar to gain energy that she's lost during the winter. Then the queen will spend the next several days searching for a nest location.
Thank you for joining us in celebrating Earth Day. We hope you can come visit us soon, and we hope you had fun. We encourage you to reflect on what you learned today. Remember, there's lots of ways that we can help the Earth with actions we do every day, even little things like picking up our litter, and when we walk through the forest, making sure we stay on the trails so that we don't disturb animal homes around us. And remember to be kind to any animals you find in nature. Remember, we rely on nature just as much as all the animals that we presented today. If you've enjoyed this video, please check out our website, heartlandforest.org, for more educational resources and upcoming programs. See you next time.